Hello, welcome to the course on drug addictions. It is sponsored by the Institute for Biblical and Scientific Studies, and you can learn more about us at BibleandScience.com. And I'm Dr. Stephen Myers. Below the screen there are a number of buttons to go forward, backward, pause, and exit the program. I worked with street people, drug addicts, and alcoholics for over 10 years with the Kensington Outreach Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I have a little video about the Kensington Outreach Center on YouTube, and you can go to that to get a little background information. It's also on the website.
In this neighborhood all my life. I was selling drugs since I was 9. And I got 3 brothers and 1 sister, and all my brothers, we all broke the law in some way, and we all did drugs. But I don't live in the streets. I live in my house and stuff. But for some reason I stay out here. I just hang out with everybody because, like, I knew her for about 3 years.
We understand each other.
I knew her for about 3 years. We help each other and stuff. Even though we're still doing drugs and all, but like, I take her to my house to take a shower. She changes, she eats and stuff, or she'll do it for me. I sold drugs. I was locked up so many times. And I don't know. I think I do drugs just to escape from reality. And plus, I like the high.
Is there any hope for you?
There's hope. Even right now, I still believe that one day I'm gonna stop. It's just right now I don't want to stop.
Why do people do drugs? There are 6 major factors. Family problems. An absent father is most likely to produce an addict. Now, this could be because he passed away, or more likely a divorce. Many times discipline is either too harsh or too lenient, and there's a lack of bonding between the parent and the child. Number 2, a lack of self-esteem. A child growing up in a troubled family can't feel good about himself. They feel something is wrong with them. They feel guilty and responsible for the parents' problems. Love is based on performance. Number 3, peer pressure. We don't want to be square. We want to fit in with others, and so a friend offers us drugs. We just feel compelled we must do it. Experimentation. Teenagers want to find out for themselves if drugs are really as bad as their parents say they are. And it's just natural curiosity at that age. Then there's also cultural influence. 25% of TV ads are about drugs. If you don't feel good, take this medicine. And then there's parental drug use. 40% of drug addicts have parents who have problems with drugs or alcohol. The steps to addiction. First, there is experimentation. The most common drug used are pot and alcohol. They just want to, experience what it's like, what it's all about. They learn the mood swing feels good. Hey, this is great. And they trust a drug will make them feel better. And each time they take it, sure enough, they feel better. Then the next step is occasional use. I just use it on the weekends, a weekend warrior. They now seek the mood swing of the drug to feel good. Then there is the regular use, almost every day of the week. All activities revolve around drugs and friends who use drugs. Harmful dependence of the drug to get high. They deny they have any problem at all. They have it all under control. And they project their anger on others. Then the final step is a full-blown addiction, daily use, and usually all day long. The user has to take the drug to feel normal. The brain chemistry has changed to the drug is part of the normal function of the brain. So the drug changes the brain chemistry. And if the drug is stopped, terrible withdrawal pains set in. They use the drugs now just to feel normal. Feeling great or feeling pain. How do we handle stress and pain? We do not like stress or pain, so we do different things to cope with stress or pain. Some people will eat more when under stress or when they're worried because it makes them feel better. Some will exercise more. Some will gamble or shoplift. Some will even go to the extreme of killing because it relieves the stress and makes them feel better. Some teens will choke themselves to get high. It's all about feeling good and avoiding stress and pain. How can drugs be bad if they make me feel so good? This is the major problem. Basic biology. All illegal drugs affect the brain. They alter your feelings and work primarily on the limbic system of the brain. The drugs work by interfering with or substituting for the brain's natural chemicals called neurotransmitters. When we feel good, it is because the brain has released an extra dose of a neurotransmitter, like dopamine. When it reaches the receptor of another brain cell, we feel better. When a drug is introduced, it alters the brain's chemistry and a vicious cycle starts. The more the drug is used, the more the brain is affected, and the more you crave the drug. Battling biology. Our bodies were designed to avoid pain. It is a natural reaction. If I put my hand on a hot stove, I will receive extreme pain and will pull my hand quickly away. Pain can be good. If I did not receive pain messages, my hand would be completely burned and useless. Pain is our natural body's warning system that something is wrong. The pain is a warning and it's helpful to us. When I get a cold, my body warns me I need to rest more so my body can fight off the infection. Balance is basic. People do better when there is a little stress. The body is geared up for action. Too much stress is harmful. Balance is needed. Balance is key. For example, too much water and you will drown. Too little water and you will die of thirst. Learn good coping skills. Learn how to handle your stress, worries, or anger. Addiction is a way of coping with painful reality that is self-destructive. When feeling good is bad. For the drug addict, feeling good is top priority and to avoid pain at all cost. Usually the effects are devastating on the people around them and on themselves, yet they cannot see this. They are in denial. How can feeling so good be so bad? Consequences of drug use are not seen but delayed. Some have to reach the very bottom to realize this. They lose everything. Feelings can lead you astray. Feelings need to be controlled. When I feel angry, I may feel like killing someone, but I control myself. I don't want to live the rest of my life in jail for not controlling my anger. It may feel good at first to yell and scream and get it off your chest, but you'll probably feel guilty later, and others around you may be hurt. What do you do with pain? How do you cope? What do you do when you feel pain? What do you do when you feel too much stress? What do you do when you feel overwhelmed? What do you do when you are so worried about something? How can you handle pain and stress is key. Coping with problems. Avoid harmful ways that are at first pleasurable but have delayed consequences, like illegal drugs. Exercise is a good way to get rid of stress. Positive thinking. Don't focus on the problem. If you keep saying, I'm not going to think about stress, I'm not going to think about stress, you're probably going to be thinking just about stress. Think about something positive. Think about something else. Positive reward. Reward yourself when you overcome the stress. Do something you like to do. If you like to go to the movies or go to a beach, buy a book or go to the thrift shop and buy something, reward yourself for overcoming the problem. Avoid people and places that pull you down. If your friends are all drug addicts, you will most likely become a drug addict. You may think they are your friends, but they really are not. They may be very nice, but they will pull you down into drug addiction. Avoid places that will pull you down. Avoid going to the bar if you can't control your drinking. Most think they can control their drinking, they can control their drugs, when they can't. Just don't go to the bar. Just don't go to those places that tempt you. Just don't go near the areas that have drugs. Make new friends that can help you. You can't do it alone. Most addicts think they have everything under control. They must realize they need help. They may need a confrontational meeting and intervention from family and friends. They may need to go to rehab center for help. They need a higher power. They need God to help them out. God can be with them and God can help them. The chemicals in the brain have changed it so much, it's just a vicious cycle in which they can't get out of unless they get help. Psychological problems. Many of the street people are on drugs. Many have psychological problems and are trying to self-medicate themselves with illegal drugs so they can feel better. If they are given legal drugs, they don't take them because it makes them feel worse, or they take illegal drugs on top of the legal ones. Is your helping hurting? Bailing out a drug addict by giving him money is not going to help. It is better to buy him a cup of coffee and give it to him. Providing money, food, shelter for an addict is probably just helping him remain an addict. Sometimes they need to be thrown out of the house and be on the street with no money until they are willing to go to a rehab center. Tough love is needed. Drug addicts are great con artists at getting money. They have all sorts of sad stories to tell, so you will give them money. For example, I need money to get medicine for my dying daughter. Please give me money. I need money so I can go to a rehab shelter and get help. I need money to get on the L train to get to the hospital and see my dying mother. So many excuses that they can give and sad stories that they can tell, but don't give them money. If they need to go to the hospital, drive them to the hospital. Don't give them money to go to the hospital. When the bottom falls out, it is usually not until everything falls apart that the addict will seek help. The first step to recovery is to admit you have a problem. Drug addicts are going to keep doing it until everything falls apart. They're at the bottom of the bottom. And if we help them out and give them money and different things, they're not going to hit bottom. You have to let them hit bottom so they realize they have a problem and that they need to get help. A treatment program is usually needed for those on drugs extensively. Generally, outpatient treatment is less expensive and less disruptive. Outpatient treatment works best for those who are in good health and have a strong desire to be free of drugs. Inpatient treatment is intensive and removes the addict from the environment of drug use. This is very good. Residential programs are designed for long-term help in a controlled environment. This may be good for an adolescent or young adult. Aftercare is very important so relapse is less likely. Many relapse within 1 year of treatment, but they need to just get right back up and keep going. Set goals for the future. Vocational programs to learn to do something with your hands, or going to school, getting a job. Idle hands is an idle mind. Dealing with your emotions is key. What am I feeling? Am I feeling anger? Am I feeling stress? Am I all worried? Identify what you are feeling. And then next, why am I feeling this way? Did someone say something at work or at home to upset you? What is causing this feeling? It always seems to be the very little things that you will get you upset the most. Then what can I do about this? Positive thinking, positive steps, diversion, think about things that are good, exercise. Recovery is a lifelong process. It just doesn't happen all at once and I can just forget about it. It's lifelong. Relapse happens. Usually within the first year, a relapse happens. What do? Get right back up and continue on. Don't just stay there in the pool of depression. Get right back up again and keep going. Relapses may happen, but you don't have to stay there in it. Get right back up and get going. Have a support system in place. Have friends and family that can support you in doing the right thing. Don't hang around old friends who do drugs that pull you down. They're not really your friends. And get qualified counseling. Here are some good online resources that you can go to. There's the American Council of Drug Education. There's the National Institute for Drug Education. There's the National Association for Children of Alcoholics. There's prevention resources of information on drug education. So there's a number of of key things online that you can go to. You need to be educated in these areas.